on there, and then I'll just talk off of the sheet, which I have open on a different tab.
Okay. Oh, and good morning, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to OotiniCast. Now, through a quite deliberate decision, there's just Chill and myself. We're going to run old school, so to speak, which isn't actually accurate because we've had guests right from the beginning, but, occasionally we do run it without guests just to change it up a bit. I am planning that this will be a short show. Short. For no particular reason. The general thought was we're sort of ramping up towards the release of Knights of the Fallen Empire, of course, and so we anticipate users going to just get better, and so this is the calm before the storm. Very much the calm before the storm. And so why not? Yeah, depending on how long it is, it may even be a freebie for our patrons, but yeah. Because if it's short, it's easy to edit and yada yada. Oh yeah, and disclaimer, this is the raw version of the show, which is why I'm just sort of vaguely rambling. The real version is a edited MP3, which you can download via all the places you normally get podcasts, such as iTunes, or just directly with your podcatcher via our RSS feed. And just a general call for, if you've got ideas for our next Patreon milestone goal, please let us know. We got a list of 10 ideas from, I think it was Alex. Was it Alex? Sounds familiar. Yes. From Alex J. And yeah, some really good ones in there, but if you've got your own ideas. Now, remember, the whole Patreon thing is people are supporting, you choose to support a project for the guys to keep doing what they're doing. But it doesn't hurt for us to do something special for those people who are choosing to financially keep us going a little bit. So, yeah. All right. So, Chill.
Right.
So just one of his ideas I did want to mention, which we have unfortunately ruled out at this point, is he suggested that Chill and myself dress as Gungans, as actual Jar Jar Binks for the episode.
5 is right out. Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is. All right, Chill. How much more time do you need, or shall we just roll on?
Let's see. I think I'm good. There we go. Okay.
Oh, I should tweet out. God. I need some way of automating that.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell Twitch to automatically send out a tweet whenever it goes live, if you haven't done that.
That's true. Yeah, that is sometimes some latency there.
Can be, but at least it's that one done.
Well, beware too. We may still go there. Actually, there was another one in there about dressing up as something.
There is, where we'd also be in character as much as possible.
Yeah. One about us switching names would just be strange.
Yeah, that one would be. Plus, I mean, unless someone else is talking and I'm redirecting to you, I usually don't use your name specifically. So
exactly,
it wouldn't be that weird, or you wouldn't hear it that much, I don't think.
We'd have to go out of our way to do it. Yeah, the specific suggestions: Chill and Tio will dress like their favorite Star Wars character for one episode. You must use those famous catchphrases throughout the show. So who would you pick, Chill? Just out of interest.
I don't know. Well, I guess it would have to be one I could actually do an impression of. So, and also, since I really don't have any real good costumes, I guess I have an old brown bathrobe somewhere I could probably, like, Jedi up, but, or, I don't know, green face paint and do the low-rent Yoda? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoda.
And I'll be talking about one very bad impression I do later on today.
Oh, Han Solo, yes.
Yes. I do not do a good Han Solo, but it was fun to do.
This I want to hear about.
Okay.
That was a
If you
So,
and if you haven't heard it, it's only like 8 minutes long. So the whole thing,
okay.
not just my part, but the whole thing,
All
because
right.
they only do like 1 page a day or 1 page a show,
Okay.
or 2 pages or something. It's not much. All right.
All right. Are we ready to roll? And I must believe
Except I have not got Audacity rolling, so let me roll that. Levels already set. The stream is going. Test. Looks good.
we're both in glorious HD.
Yes. Yeah. You gonna talk about getting a dog?
Oh,
I
am
mean,
I?
I know it's not specifically. Aren't you guys
No, I
getting a
couldn't
dog
mention
like
that.
this weekend?
I mean,
Yeah,
talk
definitely.
about it.
At least mention it.
Oh, I should solicit name suggestions for our dog, Little Jack Russell, from the Swirtal community. We've already picked a name that we're pretty happy with.
But
if
you never
someone
know,
comes
right?
up with some genius suggestion, then
That's
why
right.
not?
Sometimes crowdsourcing works.
Indeed. Yeah, but we'll probably stick with what we've got. But if it's cool enough, why not? Star Wars theme, please. All right. I'm ready to record. Sorry, let me just switch this to studio mode.
Yes, good old studio mode.
An excellent discovery of yours.
That's so
Glad
much
you
better.
solved that.
Yeah.
Treat no. We're getting a boy dog for starters. Benny, come on, hurry! Jeez, we talked about that. Yeah, Jar Jar, no.
I know you're not a big fan of Ewoks, but otherwise you could go with Wicket.
No, I'm definitely not a big fan of Ewoks. So. Yeah, she is.
Don't think there's any alien races that look particularly like a Jack Russell Terrier. I mean,
That's true.
some dogs look like Chewbacca because that's part of
Nah.
what Chewbacca was based on, but that's not a Jack Russell Terrier for sure. That's some
Definitely
other
not.
dog.
Maybe there'll be something in the new movie.
Yeah.
All right. Enough prevaricating, or whatever we're doing. Let's show on the road.
Enough talking about what we're going to do, and let's do it.
Exactly.
All right. Just one last double check that everything's going. Okay. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. This is episode 212, being recorded on Wednesday, July 1st, 2015. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And no guests today. The news is light. We're just going stripped down bare today. We're just running light and gonna keep it going quick today. So, Tio, what'd you do this week?
Well, let's talk about raiding, and I can actually give some good news for once, given that we actually
Yay.
had some success. So, what did we start with? We went to Temple of Sacrifice. We got through Malafar easily enough, I think. Yes. Actually, that went really smoothly. And then we worked on Sword Squadron and got them down. Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, it was a dream run. Everyone was alive at the end. Reasonable health. Healers were doing a fantastic job. So, about the only thing we did different that run was we were talking about when the enrage is. It was roughly 6 minutes. And it was pointed out that the cooldown on our raid buffs, such as the Sage and the Sentinel, although we have a Sentinel, etc., is only 5 minutes for the debuff to wear off before you can use it again. So we fired it up at the beginning, and that was the run that we took them down. So in theory, you can use it twice, at the beginning and at the end, if the cooldown has come down.
That was nice.
And yeah, aside from that, we pretty much got all the mechanics down. It was just a matter of surviving and RNG not catching people in such a situation that they just couldn't get out of. White circle, red circle,
Yes.
etc. Turgs also, he's our other tank, has had some lag issues of late where he just seems to freeze for a second or two, which can be kind of fatal sometimes.
In that fight especially, yeah.
Yeah. And also Rub, who is our bomb runner in the Sword Squadron, which is the 2 walkers, Temple of Sacrifice. We got some advice from our friend Jeremy Darksplat, who's been on the show a couple of times, about using the gravity that you get in hard mode. You get sucked in occasionally, and various things to help propel you,
Ah.
just to get
And there
that
was
extra bit of time.
right. So look at the timer and get the bomb shortly before
Yep.
it goes off. That's clever.
Exactly.
I missed that
Suck
part,
it
but
in.
yeah, that makes sense.
Rubber done and just tuned his run so that he maximized his DPS, and that made a hell of a difference to ensure that we got him down. In fact, that run was just easy. So anyway,
Yeah.
we got through Sword Squadron. Hurrah. So now we're 4 of 10. Casual. But then we went on to Ravagers. Now, I may have mentioned that we've been having trouble getting through Bulo again. We have got him down a few times on hard mode, but the last couple of weeks we've had issues. We went through, took down Sparky. That was easy. Actually, I think I actually survived that one. I'm the tank who's pulling little puppies, and usually I have issues staying alive, but that time it was all good. Because this is the first time we've actually had the full team together for a while, actually. The core team of our raid group. Then we went on to Bulo, and yes, we did finally get through it. In fact, that run was kind of smooth as well. The key for us, in case anyone was curious, was Turg and myself, who are the two tanks. We got to make sure that we're always at least 90 degrees to each other, at least perpendicular, ideally more. This means that Bulo's shotgun blast will only hit one of us. For the most part, it actually doesn't do much damage, but occasionally it seems to get into a mode where it really, really hits hard, as in like losing half your health. And a couple of those and you're obviously just down very, very quickly. So combination of all that stuff, and yeah, no problem at all. Then we moved on to Talk. First time we've done Talk on hard mode. We did not get through it. And first look, well, as with all of these fights, you do get the impression it's kind of impossible. But after a little bit of getting the hang of it, the feel of it, we were definitely making progress. We were staying alive. They did fix a bug where the fire effect became invisible after the first few seconds, where the fire was still there, but you couldn't see it, and so you get fried. So that's all fixed. So the only thing that was screwing us up was... So the way the fight works is there's the 4 consoles, where occasionally during the fight, the Wookiee will smash one. If he smashes 3 of the 4 in hard mode, the actual ship you're in, will actually crash to the ground. And the fight's over, everyone dies. So the idea is that there are repair droids which you send out, and they will repair the console. Of course, they are vulnerable to any of your own damage, and there are ads that spawn that will attempt to shoot them down. There's a particular one called Shoots Lasers.
Yes.
We're still not sure if that was comedy or whether they just forgot to update the names when they went live. Let's assume it was comedy. There's actually everything in that fight is kind of hilarious in terms of naming. When Shoots Lasers is out, one of the repair droids will just sit there after you spawn. So the idea is you kill Shoots Lasers, then you actually use the console to release the droid. And you only have a fixed number of droids. The hardest part about that fight is a very tight enrage, effectively, because you will quickly run out of repair droids. And the Wookiee has a lot of health. I mean, Talk is a joke in story mode, but in hard mode, it's not
so
very
much.
funny.
Yeah, and in fact, not only do you want to wait until after Shoots Lasers is down before you open one, but you kind of have to, because otherwise your repair droid just waits until Shoots Lasers is down before he does anything. He just sits there. He basically, it looks like we thought he was bugged until you realize that was actually part of the mechanic. Yeah, because you'd unlock him, he'd come out, and then he'd just sit there, and he's like, "Why isn't he doing anything?" Of course, he would get killed. Yeah. In fact, I believe Shoots Lasers has an AI where he starts to target the healing droid as soon as he can, basically.
And he does sufficient damage that it's kind of nasty. So that hint where the droid chooses not to come out is probably a very, very heavy hint about what you're supposed to do in terms of timing. Make sure Shoots Lasers is down. So anyway, this week it's just one day of raiding, just Thursday night, because Friday night is apparently there's some sort of 4th of July thing happening in America.
Something like that. Happens right after the 3rd, usually.
Yeah, it does. It does. So clearly we don't celebrate that here, but enough of our raiders are from the US and are going off on doing holiday things for the 4th, which is fine. Which is my Saturday morning, and we're getting our new puppy. This is not Star Wars related, unless someone would like to suggest a Star Wars related name for our new male Jack Russell puppy, which we're picking up on Saturday morning.
Yay!
So suggestions kindly welcomed, but we do have a name in mind. Anyway.
And Cap Slapshot is suggesting in chat that it may be one of the puppies from the Sparky fight. So look at the list of puppies from that fight.
That's a good idea.
Remember, there's some funny ones, yeah.
I'll pay attention to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we raid. And Cap Slapshot 27 is suggesting maybe worth trying Talk on 16 man. You'd have to deal with a bit of leg.
Not sure what that means.
A bit of a lag. But in terms of dealing with mechanics, DPS, and healing, it's loads easier. That was a tiny room, and with a fire under you, I've heard gets a bit crowded in there. Lots of suggestions. Near Numb for a dog. Which is the guy from Return of the Jedi, Lando's co-pilot in the Millennium Falcon at the end. They take out Death Star number 2. Yeah, no. Yeah. Anyway, finally, I did want to mention I got some new gear from the operation for my Guardian tank, and I looked at Keyboard Ninja's list of ideal stats for Guardians, and I realized that min-maxing that, as in working out which mods and enhancements to swap out, which augments, which earpiece to take, it was all becoming a bit painful, so I developed a spreadsheet to help me work it out. Now, Kusei had mentioned a tool that would be really cool, would be something where you could put in your character's details and then easily swap in mods and gear to do your min-maxing. Something like that kind of existed on Ask Mr. Robot, but Ask Mr. Robot has gone away. And I know the guys at Talk Community are working on something similar, but in the meantime, so I did the spreadsheet. I managed to develop it into a sort of cut-down character builder. Very simple, but does
slick.
The basics, yes, just to help you min-max, because I would love something like that. Admittedly, we're not going to get a new tier of gear for quite a while, probably not until Knights of the Fallen Empire, and who knows what's happening with that, but it could be useful down the track. Anyway, that's my week. How about you, Chell?
All right, first a shout out to the chat room. Ari is here, Beware 2, the aforementioned Cap Slapshot 27, Karanome, Comics, Darth Brundlefly, Dekion, Dread, Force Chuckle, Fionha, Gas Guy, Gahana, Hellion, Mark_Swotor, Nepthin Pez, Sukroof, sorry, that's probably pronounced somehow else, I'm not sure. CP Anita, Death to Jar Jar, the Gahana again, I think it moved down. Hoofhearted, Palais, Pez, Sukai Beru, and Zamzam are all here. Of course, Zamzam, previous guest and PvPer. And on the Twitch, chat is G_Land, the Jer Bear, and Total Hatred. Hello, everyone. All right. Well, this week in doing my stream for Whispers of the Forest character, I did Blood Hunt, on the Rishi, the Flashpoint, and ended up having to do that bickering married couple fight 4 different times. It turns out that my apprentice Zalik was following them when one of them would jump out of the fight, and it would reset it. So, yeah. And I actually turned off his jump ability, and that didn't work. He still followed them for some reason. I'm not sure how. So what ended up working was me watching for him to jump and then putting him on passive, which would call him back. And as long as I did that quickly enough, then it didn't seem to reset the fight. So I heard a lot of nagging because that whole fight is them bickering between each other. Yeah. So 4 times, yes. That was annoying. Fortunately, that was an assassin, so I didn't die every time. I think I died once, and then I was able to vanish. And then, like I said, it was resetting. So, actually, it was mostly just the resets. Actually, I think I did die once, but that was the weird one at the beginning. Let's see. So anyway, I've got that character Chilico up to 60. So I'm trying to determine what to stream next. And I did do Slash Played this week. So we've been talking about that a lot. I won't go into too much detail. I feel like we go into a lot of detail on some of these Slash Playeds. But I'll give a few details. It was 133 days total, which is a lot less than some other people, but still feels like a whole lot of time. 191,524 minutes. And the winner in terms of time was my previous operations main, my Shadow, at 32 days, 11 hours. Yeah, and it would be a few more days if I included the other servers. I only did Harbinger. I have a few characters on other servers, and then I also have that fun 11 hours of making and breaking brand new characters to get the statue. So there's a few days or hours at least that aren't included, but 133 days is close enough, so good enough on that. And finally, I guested on a dramatic reading of a classic Star Wars comic book. It's called Voxbox Podcast, and the episode is called Voxbox Star Wars Comic Book Podcast number 9, Before Rancor There Was Behemoth. And there's a link in the show notes. And it was very fun doing my rather silly impression of Han Solo. Definitely not the character I do the closest impression of, but it was still fun to do. So thanks to Michael Corley for letting me guest on that. And so, yeah, anything to help a Bruce Jenner doing the Olympics looking Han Solo and his green anthropomorphic rabbit buddy come to life. So melodramaturgy away, because everything is like screamed in that that whole episode apparently. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And of course, just like when I did a reading for Kranatoko, I gave Michael several readings, and of course he chose the silliest one. So there you go. All right, that will bring of course. That will bring us to the tip of the week. We got 6 of them this week. Why don't you start us off, Tio?
1 second. Just writing down some dog names that I'm getting from the chat room. Alright. Our first tip is from Cooper of the Red Eclipse server. This is a tip for all those outfit designers out there. If your cargo hold is getting clogged up with outfits, remember you can delete the outfits and retrieve them from the Collections tab free of charge. Now, that's true for those outfits that are in Collections, and that set does tend to be a little restricted given it is only, for the most part, cartel market stuff and things from special events. So, yeah, anything
That's
you
true.
get from... And given that people are using like white gear now for outfits as well as what's from the cartel market, just be careful. Just look in your... Be very, very sure about a particular item that is in your collections. And remember, some of them, even if they are in collections, they are in a set. And unless you have all items in that set, you can't actually generate a new one from collections. You have to complete it, then you can actually replicate the set. So, But yeah, obviously, if it's in collections, you can make as many as you like. You don't have to let them clog up any space in your inventory or cargo bay.
Very nice. All right. Tip number 2 from Mary Archie. Cheap transfer servers also mean cheap character renames. Before you transfer, make a character on your destination server with the same name as the tune you're planning to transfer. You may also want to make a character simply to determine the availability of the name you want. You can then transfer your character to the new server. Once the character's been moved, the conflicting names will force you to rename the character that was transferred. And in theory, you could use this trick even if you aren't planning on changing servers by transferring to the new server and then back to the original. So you could get a character rename for 180 CCs.
Well, yes, because each server transfer, as we know, has been reduced to 90 cartel coins. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a correction on that, by the way. Character transfers before this reduction cost 1,800 cartel coins. Now, last week I did say there were only 600, which I just got confused with the cost of a new character slot, which I believe is 600. And next week there will be a correction for the actual cost of a new character slot. But anyway, character transfers were indeed 1,800, now reduced to 90. And for the foreseeable future, where foreseeable is up to Knights of the Fallen Empire, or a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did want to comment that we had a post on Reddit about exactly this trick of how to get specifically using the character transfers, transfer your character to the server on server A to server B, and then transfer them back to server A. Apparently, some people thought there would be a waiting period. You can do it straight away. It would appear. So, and that is a way to get a character rename, which would normally cost you 1,000 cartel coins, roughly $10. But this way, 2 character transfers, it's only 180 cartel coins. And the question was asked whether this was an exploit. And the simple answer is no, not at all. It's a reasonably clever use of the mechanics of how all this works, but there's just nothing wrong here. So why not?
Right. In other words, taking advantage of the fact that it's temporarily reduced.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could do the same thing with regular transfers. It's just that it would be way more cartel coins instead of way less.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So go for it.
So, yeah, I always heard that you had to wait 72 hours if you transferred a character to move it again. But then there's an edit thing.
Yeah, and apparently the people were commenting that this is no longer necessary. So whether it's been waived for the duration or whether they were just wrong, I don't know. You'd have to try
or
this.
Quietly got changed at some point. Who knows?
The worst case, 3-day wait, and you're back.
Yeah. Nice. All right.
Our third tip is from Kronos 1981. With the character transfers being only 90 cartel coins, I decided to transfer my level 60 power tech to another server and discovered that your heroic moment legacy abilities that you gain from other level 60 tunes also transfers even to the other tunes that were already on the destination server. I'm on Young Ma now and I have a bad feeling about it. Later, guys. Obviously has joined the Bad Feeling Podcast Guys Guild. And so as far as this goes, we probably haven't talked about this for a while, but with a character transfer, your legacy in its entirety transfers with you, or is copied with you and replicated to the other server. It is merged with whatever legacy you have over there, and so you get the superset of all of the unlocks between both legacies. Your legacy level will be whichever is the higher of the two. You can't go backwards. And so that means that any unlocks... Now, what I did was, back when we had the Aussie servers closing down, I took the advantage of creating a bunch of characters over there and then transferring them for free to every single server that was out there. And that legacy that moved with them had like all the 4 character class buffs unlocked. So I've now got that in the legacy on all of the servers that I could possibly want to be in, including on the Euro side. So yeah, legacy goes across in its entirety. And that includes all your unlocked strongholds as well, and all that, and your decos and everything else. Anything that's in your legacy. So,
Very cool. All right, 4th tip is from Gas Guy, longtime friend of the show.
Indeed.
Hello, fellow Codex hunters and exploration experts. Completing the Explorer of Alderaan achievement can be a bit frustrating. If, like me, you've been missing getting it, here's a slow tip and a fast tip. Slow. Some explorers make an effort to visit every hex on each submap of the world map. Or in the case of the Jurin Mountains, you may need to get to the very southern bottom hex on the Jurin map, which is an area called Alsakan Overlook and is near coordinates 1602, 1485. This is easily accessible on your mount by taking an unmarked path from the main route. My thanks to some forum posts by SWSTUT from 2012 for the help. I'm off to the Glarus Valley. Wave as you pass by.
I really should... That would be something to do before Knights of the Fallen Empire is go through and fill out one's codex. Find all the ones I haven't. And with Gas Guy's spreadsheet, which you can download from OotiniCast.com, that would be kind of easy. Oh, that would take forever, but it would be kind of fun. Now, I just wanted to mention in passing that, just talking about character slots and transfers, Suki, who Ari and I had dinner with, actually, just last week, he suggests that with Knights of the Fallen Empire, these cheap character transfers are a prelude to server mergers of the low-pop servers. It would be interesting to know whether they're going to do that. There's been no hint, no suggestion, But
it
who
could happen.
knows? Yep. So I don't know what we do about it. There's still that better than cross-server thing. And server merges, maybe that is the answer. Don't know. But somehow preserving character identity. Remember, they did say that was one of their goals, which means a server merger, your names are lost. But if they can somehow preserve that, that's the best of both worlds. Anyway.
Yep. They can't do it the old-fashioned way and keep the names, because that always involved name changes and so on. So, yeah. Okay.
Our fifth tip is from Blacklock, and he says, "Hi, my tip is for grinding the bounty contract week tokens. If you aren't bothered about the achievement for capturing all of the henchmen, then this is a quick way to get the tokens. If you don't have it already, buy the Priority Travel Capital World perk for 20,000 credits. And remember, as with all the other priority travels, these are no longer on a shared cooldown, so you can use it as often as you like." He goes on, "When picking a henchman mission, always go for the Coruscant Drome and Cuss one and use the priority travel to move to the planet. Next, use the BBA mobile supply droid to purchase the friendly drink, the light side option, or the interrogation probe, which is the dark side option. They cost 800 credits each, which is not much at all, and you need to have 4 in your inventory. After speaking to the bounty client, use the friendly drink interrogation probe on the shady characters. The drink/probe has a shorter cooldown than the standard mission item, plus it reduces the chances of the shady character refusing to answer, so on average, you can collect the 4 that you need much faster. Once you finish the mission, the rewards will cover the cost of the drinks and probes, plus reward you with a drink and probe for next time. So you don't need to buy as many. If your quick travel has 0 cooldown, as it pretty much should be for all subscribers who've unlocked the 3 levels of the legacy perk, you can complete a henchman mission in about 10 to 12 minutes on Drome and Cuss. Yeah, that has been so frustrating. If you don't use the drink or the interrogation probe, if your RNG is against you, it can take a long time. And with a bunch of people after them as well, their spawn rate's a bit low in some places. It's kind of annoying, particularly Drome and Cuss Cantina, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Blacklock sent us a correction, because apparently the cooldown on the drink and probe is variable and a bit tricky to explain. He says there are 3 options when questioning a shady character. Use the icon in the mission tracker, or use either drink or probe from your inventory. If you use the icon in the mission tracker, the drink and the probe will come off cooldown slightly faster. But if you drink, then it shares a cooldown with the icon in the mission tracker, but the probe comes off cooldown much faster. And if you probe, then it shares a cooldown with the icon in the mission tracker, but the drink comes off cooldown much faster. So alternate between drink and probe for the best results is the bottom line as far as that goes. Okay, I think that made sense. Keep going, guys. Enjoying this show, which is why I became a patron. Thank you, Blacklock.
Thank you. All right, and finally, the 6th tip from Old Slayer from Harbinger, a.k.a. Quoth from Bedrin Colony. I only recently decided to try my luck at the slot machines on Nar Shaddaa and discovered a handy tip that can make the process go a lot faster. If you stand at the end of a row of slot machines and get really close, you can effectively play 2 machines at the same time by simply clicking back and forth between them. This also works if you stand in the middle of the rows, which gives plenty of room for multiple people to play multiple machines at the same time. I was able to quickly burn through 99 basic tokens, stockpiling about 26 Kingpin tokens in the process. I also discovered that the trick also works on the Kingpin machines, but requires more precise positioning. Boy, that's true. And that's true. In fact, I would often just kind of stand kind of between 2 rows, so I'd actually kind of have access to 4. You just got to move back and forth. But if you want to not move at all, then yes, you can do 2 at a time, and it's pretty quick as well.
When I was Rancor hunting, I was pretty much using 4 machines in a block if I could. Yes, as you say, it requires a little bit of movement, but not much at all. Yeah.
All right. And the winner by a random allotment is Mariachi. Congratulations. You're the winner of a Ton Fawn or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. If you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Tuesday. And that will bring us to the holofeed. Tio?
Oh, there is so little news this week. It's terrible. Now, Eric Musco apparently is on holiday this week, which probably may be a contributing factor to this. But anyway,
Yeah.
hopefully there'll be something towards the end of the week, which we can talk about next week.
Good.
We'll see. Anyway, now I've already corrected the server transfer cost. It is used to be 1,800 cartel coins, now 90. Now Gland from our chat says on the character transfer screen it does still say 72 hours wait between transferring a given character. So don't assume that it is 0 cooldown, as we were kind of alluding to earlier. So, but anyway, if it is, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Next, update on Chairgate. The Temple Chair Basic. Well, they deployed Game Update 3.2.2a, well, patch 3.2.2a, to fix this sellback price. Remember, it's purchasable for 1 credit because they screwed up the pack allocation, but it was able to be sold back for 100 credits, so they had to fix that. So that's done. So you can now safely buy Temple Shares Basics without any hint that you're doing anything wrong.
Right.
Now, today we had a post from Tate where he gave the final update, effectively, on the actions taken against the Chairgaters. The following actions in varying combinations are being levied against exploiting accounts. Warning, 7-day suspensions, removal of all credits on the account. Seems a bit excessive, but anyway, all credits. And permanent. And they're also going to continue their analysis and may take additional actions. So they're looking to wrap up all final actions soon. So in some places I was reading that there were people trying all kinds of crazy tricks to try to get untraceable credits and somehow get them back to their mains or whatever. Oh well, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Right. Now, I didn't exploit, but I did buy not a ton, but a few stacks of chairs to sell at some point.
If you don't sell them back to the vendor, they're fine. No problem at all. Yeah,
well, right. But unfortunately, this fix means it can't be sold at all, so I won't be able to GTN them either. Well, it's a shame. It just means that people in the future won't be able to get them, because I'm sure they're going to...
Did they change the rebound?
It says can no longer be sold and must be destroyed, or says or traded. In order to remove, can it be GTN'd or can it be just manually traded? If it can be manually traded, I can still do it that way then. Yeah. At some point, when I care. I mean, I'm just gonna plan on holding them for a while because there's too many of them right now hanging around.
You can.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it might be nice at some point, like if someone's new to the game, you want to give them some decorations, something like that. All right.
True enough. All right, moving on. It was noted on Reddit that the mobile security key, which we've been talking about a little too much recently, given the whole TOTP, blah, blah, Google Authenticator, see previous shows, is now available for preferred players as well. Prior to this, if you were preferred or free to play, you could only use the physical security key. They actually prevented you when you logged in to add the key. That was the only option available. Now it was pointed out that now it appears that preferred players can too, and I tried this out on my free-to-play account, my preferred account I should say, and yes indeed, you can certainly do it. So they have actually made that change. It is unclear whether the 100 cartel coins a month you get for having the security key attached to your account is granted to preferred players. I'll let you know next time it ticks over whether my preferred account gets it as well.
Okay.
But at least you can secure your account.
Yeah, it still seems like a really good idea, just so that you don't, in case you get hacked or whatever.
Indeed. And yeah, since you don't even need a mobile phone now, you can just use the WinAuth, which will just run on your Windows box if you really want to do it. So
yeah,
why not? Alright, something on ranked PvP. There was just a brief comment that there won't be a break between Season 5, ranked PvP Season 5 and Season 6, which means Season 5, the current season, will end with Game Update 3.3, and Season 6 will therefore start, according to this, with the Game Update 3.3. No break. However, there will be a pre-Season 7. Now, that pretty much means that you can assume that Season 6 will run all the way up
Yeah.
to Game Update 3. Game Update 4.0, presumably.
Yes. So the
Or at least until the
expansion, or shortly
expansion.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. And the timing makes sense, too, because that's usually about how long they've been running the seasons. A few months, basically.
Now, we had a suggestion from the chat room. 1 second. From Death to Jar Jar in our chat room, who's, well, probably someone else we know under that name. And he just simply said, Game Update 3.4, speculate. So, and we've talked about this before, is there going to be a Game Update 3.4? So 3.3 will come out on 21 July, which is basically only three-ish weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
And is there going to be a 3.4 before the expansion, which will be 4.0, coming out 27 October? Is there enough time? And if there is, what the hell would be in it? Yeah, we've probably speculated enough already, but what do you reckon, Jill?
I think they're very. I think there's likely going to be one, but I just don't think there's going to be much in it. I think they might have some bug fixes. They might have some, little things that come in, maybe, cartel market update sort of stuff, little things like that. But I can't imagine. I think if there's anything substantive, they would have given us a hint. Hey, here comes a new Flashpoint or something. And there's been no word of that, so I don't think there's gonna be anything fancy. But yeah, there's probably gonna be a patch.
Well, Zamzam's saying there will be no update 3.4, not enough time, and she's pretty much right. And as you say, maybe there will be a 3.4, which is just bug fixes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering what the hell happened to the story, because Rise of the Emperor, we've talked about this before. The more I think about it, either they wrap it up properly, or if they don't wrap it up properly, if it just kind of fizzles out and somehow gets merged into what happens with Knights of the Fallen Empire, that pretty much means that Vitiate is somehow behind the scenes in Knights of the Fallen Empire, because they can't just leave that hanging, leave it out there, or can they?
Right. That's too big of a character to just drop him.
And they've been saying that if you
yeah.
watch the trailer again, you'll get hints about the story, and if you play through The Shadow of Revan, there's all kind of hints about what's coming up as well. So, that was all Revan's story with the Emperor. So, yeah. Does that mean Valkorion actually is Vitiate, or he always was, or something? Yeah. I hope they do something clever and deeper. I was really hoping that we could actually go Vitiate's story would be wrapped up, and then we'd have a brand new story, rather than just keep on keeping on.
Keep on with Vitiate.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for SWOTOR news. Sadly, really there isn't much.
Not a lot.
So let's talk about Star Wars Battlefront, which, as we know, is coming out towards the end of the year. There were just a few stories, not really much detail yet, of course. Well, actually, we've seen a bunch of gameplay footage, but beyond that, and it's available for pre-order. It looks amazing, truly amazing.
Looks like fun.
Yeah. Now, just from a few interviews, this is sort of pretty much came out of E3. This is with the COO, Chief Operating Officer Peter Moore, where he said he would have no hesitation. Electronic Arts would have no hesitation in delaying Star Wars Battlefront if the game wasn't right, even if it meant missing the launch of the new movie. So apparently, Battlefield 4, which came out was towards in 2013, had a few issues where they kind of pushed it out a little bit early. It was a little underbaked, and basically he says, well, you can't ship it if it doesn't work or the quality isn't right. You just bite the bullet. Trust me, shipping Hardline, that's the Battlefield, in March was not the easiest thing to do from a business perspective, but it was the right thing to do from a player perspective. We'd have no compunction, no hesitation that if something went wrong with Battlefront, if it wasn't right, we would just push it. But that's not going to happen. The game is playable with 40 players already, and it is rock solid, so it ain't going to happen. Those were direct quotes. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to take this sort of thing at face value because it is, this is all PR and that sort of thing. But if we're taking him at his word, that is the right attitude to have. I mean, it has to be gameplay before deadline, or else you're just gonna ship with too many bugs.
Exactly. Now, game companies and, well, any software company actually hates to delay after you've promised a date and then slipping.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a good look. But the actual cost of shipping and then everyone despising it in the first few days because it's broken, that can
Yes.
do irreparable damage. And yeah, I don't know, Star Wars
Right.
Battlefront.
And yeah, and also ongoing damage to reputation. So
Yeah. Now, EA really has, in theory, and apparently in practice, kind of improved over time. So they really, with the new leadership from Andrew Wilson, the Australian, who took over as the CEO, it's all been pretty just up and up since then. So, all right, just a few other things from Battlefront. Firstly, we all saw the AT-ATs or walkers in the video that was shown at E3, the gameplay video. Those will be on rails. Apparently, you can't just get in one and drive one around and stomp people. So, it's a bit of a downer. They're on rails because the whole point of the AT-AT is just like it was in the movies in Empire Strikes Back. This is the Battle of Hoth after all. Their job is to get to the shield generators and destroy them.
right,
So,
and the other team's job is to stop them.
Yes. But when you actually somehow get into the walkers, you can shoot, but apparently you can't actually control its direction. And one of the other cool things there was the snow speeders, how they had the tow cables and you could actually do all that stuff and wrap around the legs. And it's going to be amazing.
That's cool.
Have you pre-ordered, Chill?
I've not pre-ordered, but I'm definitely thinking about it just because it sounds like so much fun. So
Now, I was assuming that if I got it, it would be on PC, but we're kind of debating getting a PlayStation 4.
yeah.
And yeah, so
I don't
if
have
we
any
do-
current consoles, so yeah, I would have to
Yeah.
do the PC route. If do we know, like, is it all the same system? Like, if you were online on a PS4 and I was on the PC, would we be able to hook up? No. Okay.
No,
separate.
sadly, they actually made that pretty clear. So I guess if we wanted to play with the most number of our friends, we would have to make it on PC.
Okay.
That helps. That was all right. Moving on, there was an interview with... Actually, this was from... Sorry, let me just find it. The interview was with Battlefront senior producer Sigurlina Ingvarsdottir and
Cool
talking to
name.
Eurogamer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a couple of quotes from the interview. Speaking of vehicles, Eurogamer asked, I have to ask about space battles. Why was the decision made not to include combat in space itself? Because it wasn't the previous Battlefront. And Ingvar's daughter said, with 2 generations on from the last Battlefront, our goal was to hit all the core mechanics of the series. So the fantasy for us was to be able to engage in a dogfight, be in the cockpit of an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, and you can absolutely do that about Star Wars Battlefront. And we have another mode, which you haven't seen yet, called Fighter Squadron, that has big, epic dogfights. So we'll be hearing more about that soon. So that's cool. There will be dogfights at Battlefront.
Yeah.
Classic X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, it sounds like. And they also gave a bit more detail on the DLC, downloadable content, called the Battle of Jakku. Jakku being that desert planet that isn't Tatooine, that we saw in the Force Awakens trailer, and that you get access to immediately if you pre-order Battle of Jakku. And he said, it's our first look at something from the Force Awakens. How much will they draw from the new film? And Ingvar's daughter clarified, it's important to understand the timeline for that. You see the desert planet of Jakku in the Force Awakens trailer. You see a crashed Star Destroyer in the background, which is so cool. And in the Star Wars Battlefront, we're showing you the events of when that Star Destroyer crashed 30 years prior to the events of the Force Awakens. That's the context, because we are original trilogy focused. And these events happen in that sort of time, just after the Battle of Endor. Cool. Very
That
cool.
is cool.
Okay. And final thing from that senior producer from DICE. They're just talking about weapons balance and how they have to actually do it with talk to Lucasfilm exactly how all the weapons work. Because while DICE knows shooters, when it comes to Star Wars, that's Lucasfilm. They have some very specific opinions about how things need to work in order to be consistent with the logic of the Star Wars universe. And apparently another
Right.
DICE person had told them that you can't shoot through your own shields because it's inconsistent with the original films. Really?
Interesting.
So how do... okay, Star Wars geek question. How does an X-Wing actually fire its blasters if it's... because X-Wings run their own shields? Do the
I don't
shields
know.
cycle off when they fire?
Possibly, or the guns actually extend quite a ways out. Maybe that's how they get around it.
Or they've got tuned to the frequency of the shields? That's more a Star Trek thing, actually. So probably not. Anyway. And, okay, one more thing from Battlefront. This is Patrick Bark, General Manager at DICE. And he's basically saying there's 10,000 ways to F this up. That is the development. And so, because Star Wars fans are really, really, well, they like the Star Wars and they don't want to see it screwed up. And so they're going to extra special lengths to make sure it's awesome. So from all the gameplay footage we've said so far, it is so Star Wars it hurts in terms of look and feel. Let's just hope the gameplay matches up as well. So, yep, definitely worth waiting for. Finally,
That'll be cool.
the alpha has started. There is a link you can go to. You have to log into your Origin account. And if you go to this link, starwars.ea.com/starwars/battlefront/alpha, I will include the link in the show notes. You go there, you'll find out whether you are in the alpha now. I am not, sadly. But give it a shot. You may actually have got in and you somehow
Not
missed
even
the
known
email.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk community. Firstly, Patreon. Thanks to our latest Utini patrons, Spencer, Alex J, Ramsey, and Dan.
Thank you.
Yep, and thanks also to War Room Regular and our fellow raider Pez, and to Karbumu of the Utini Knights and Zombie in Utini Range for their most generous donations as well. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
And thanks to Kevin for his recurring donation, which I'll sort of add to our Patreon as a sort of pretend Patreon thing, just for our next milestone goal. Speaking of which, we've got some great ideas from listener Alex J about possible milestone goals for the next one, which will probably be $125 per episode. And so if you get your own ideas, what would be a nice thing for us to do? Could be anything, such as our documentary, which was our $100 goal. Please send them in. Speaking of our $100 milestone goal, our producer, Ari, who is producing the Utini Inception documentary, directing and creating, has an update which she provided. She says, just an update on the Utini Inception video. Storyboarding has begun and it's almost complete. We hope the video record within the next week or so, then allow a week or two for her to post, edit and tweak. Reaching our goal as quickly as we did took us, well, mainly Ari, by surprise, so hence we are a little behind with production. But now she is on maternity leave with our Padawan and has more time to focus on getting this completed by the end of July. So don't hold her to that. Could be a little bit longer, but it's all happening. So Chill and I have already been arranged to do our parts for the production. So
yes,
should be cool. Now I did want to give a shout out to a new SWOTOR podcast from the Knights of Sokan on the Ebon Hawk. They're a very, very much a roleplay guild, and their podcast seems to be mainly focused around roleplay, but I will link to it and give it a listen. Yeah,
okay,
sounds like those guys have a fun time. Bit of miscellaneous news, something I found on Reddit. Stronghold and guild ship bans. If you ban someone from your stronghold, it appears that it is account-wide. Unlike with /ignore and /friend, which is per character, bans are account-wide. So who knew? The way they found out was some guy was being stalked by someone on 4 different accounts, and they thought they'd have to manually ban each and every tune that they made, but no. you apparently get a name is already banned under the name in red system text if you do it. So you ban one person, one character on that account. If you then try to ban a second character on the same account, you'll get a system message telling you you've already banned them. So
Okay. So that's if you're just banning them from your stronghold or from your guild ship.
From your guild ship, yeah.
Okay.
So
we know it's it's not a /ignore thing yet. At least not yet.
Not yet.
Not now.
But it does indicate that the mechanics are there. Maybe this was a way of trialing the functionality.
Possibly.
Now, speaking of flagships, Swotorista, who was our guest last week, has done her intensive Republic flagship guide, which includes screenshots, voiceover, video tour, descriptions, hooks, everything you could possibly want to know about the Republic guild ship, the flagship. So I will link to that, of course, just one of the many guides on swotorstrongholds.com, created and maintained by Swotorista. And that's the news.
Alrighty. That'll bring us to the force feedback where we read out your tweets and emails. Chat room, if you have any questions to ask, we'll be gathering them now to answer once we're done with the feedback. Gas Guy wrote in, ever dream of Star Wars? It's probably a bit like this. And there's a dig.com video link.
To all 6 Star Wars movies being played simultaneously. And if you watch it, it is literally overlaid. So, particularly the beginning, you get the 6 Lucas, you get the
right,
intro.
the 6 crawls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's not, I was thinking it would be, tiled, but apparently not. It's all mushed together.
All overlaid. And as Gas Guy says, it's just a big old mess. Kind of like when I dream of Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, I can see doing 2 movies at the same time just to see if there are sort of interesting, coincidences there are, that sort of thing. Like if you watch the original Star Wars and Jedi, are the Death Star scenes happening around the same time? That sort of thing. But
straight overlay.
But straight overlay of 6.
Including all the sound. So
it is a mess.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun way to watch the movies. Sorry.
Yeah. Because there are people who actually do watch 2 movies at the same time to see stuff like that, and there are people, for example, who have watched Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, played both forward and backward at the same time, because apparently it's timed very, very closely, and there's like an interesting midpoint and stuff like that. So. There are people who do that sort of thing. All right, the Womballogist writes, now that I think about it, I hope they do address the MMO part of the game with the new expansion. Hate to see the same thing that happens. Let me start this one over. There's a little funkiness to the grammar. Okay. The Woomball just wrote, now that I think about it, I hope they do address the MMO part of the game with the new expansion. I hate to see the same thing happen that happened when the game first came out, when you get to the max level and then have basically nothing to do. That is true, Woomball. We know that they're going to be doing the chapters thing, but if that's every month, for a lot of people, that's going to be like, one crazy evening of play and then, wait for the next month. For the next chapter.
Yeah, given it's pretty much the same story, the replayability is... but still, we have to get all our characters to 65, but as you say, once the chapters keep coming up after that, I remain in hope. They have talked about the MMO bits are not being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so they will have more of the traditional MMO content, such as operations, such as flashpoints, whatever, will come out, as well as the episodic story content. I have hope. A new hope.
All right. Ivalon, our musical friend, wrote in, here's the answer to Swotorista's question about what instrument was used during the Alderaan loading music, which is, I have made sure to listen to it since that episode, and it is really gorgeous.
It is.
The instrument, he writes, that we hear when Alderaan loads is called a hammered dulcimer. It's a gorgeous sound and very old, as the instrument likely originated in medieval Europe. Here's the cue, written by Lenny Moore, who's a veteran game composer, and there's a YouTube link, and the Wikipedia entry for the instrument.
The hammered
Nice.
dulcimer, I'll include both those links in the show notes, of course.
Right. Yeah. It is a pretty sound. Yeah, and it's a very it is kind of a unique instrument too. If you see the picture, you'll probably recognize it if you've seen orchestras. You know, you do they're not as common as other instruments, but if you see a full orchestra, you'll often see one. And yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And it does have a nice sound. I agree. All right.
Dekion, just from the chat, was asking, will we get to level 65 during the first 9 chapters that we actually get with the expansion, or will it take all of them to reach 65? Wouldn't it be painful if it was actually gated? We talked about this before, and the answer is, I would guess that you would easily get to level 65 with the chapters we get with the expansion.
Right.
And then the rest of the episodes are done at 65.
Possibly. It's also possible that you can you'll get to the end of the story, but they'll allow you to grind to 65.
Yeah,
in
almost
some
certainly.
way. That's possible
Unless
too.
they're gated. And
But,
no,
right.
they have said we are getting 5 new levels with the expansion, which means
Right.
those 5
So
levels
you-
should be available straight away.
Yeah. So you're thinking they won't just say, okay, you can get to 62 this month, and then we're going to
Wouldn't
shut
that
it
be
off.
annoying? No.
Yeah. So yeah, I would I'd be willing to take a bet that you're probably gonna have to do some grinding when it first comes out. Like you won't be able to. You'll need like if you were gonna go from 60 to 65, it would have to be later on when there's some of the additional chapters expanded. That's just a guess.
Suki's also saying they haven't ruled out new levels next year, so we could actually go beyond 65. They could add like 1 level per episode, take us up to
chapter
70.
or 2?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't think I'd want to. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I hadn't thought about that, but they could do that.
Yeah.
All right. Descartes wrote, server transfers. Do collections transfer over? I have a handful of tons? I don't
Maybe I might.
Descartes
However you want to do
writes, server transfers. Do collections transfer over? I have a handful of things on alternate servers. I want to unlock cartel outfits for them.
You'll be happy to know
Oh,
the collections
tunes.
are...
That's what it is. It's tunes. Okay.
Oh, do you want
Let
to
me
read
try it again. Third time's the charm. Third time pays for all. If you've been listening to as much Tolkien as I have been
Doing
recently.
it live.
Doing it live. Descartes writes, server transfers. Do collections transfer over? I have a handful of tunes on alt servers, and I want to unlock cartel outfits for them.
You'll be happy to know that collections are account-wide. So
Yes.
they don't just transfer over, they're already available everywhere. So anything in the collections that is unlocked is available to any character on any server.
Right. And let's see. BioWare definition of expansion means new reviews in game magazines. So much is aimed at journos, and potential new players. That may be why the 8-time class stories thing was in there. Yeah, meaning the rather confusing document that led experienced players to wonder. Yeah.
Be misled a little bit, maybe.
Exactly. And then Descartes writes, to Swoturista, you were wrong about the Cathar, and here I thought you had impeccable taste.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I was sort of with Swoturista on that one.
I want to like...
But
Yeah, I want to like the Cathar. I tried to make a few, and I'm always kind of like deleting them. The only the only one I've actually sort of decided to keep is because I kind of have to, is because she became my Galactic Starfighter character. So if I want to do GSF, I pretty much have to do it on that character. So, right. Draco writes, do you guys think that BioWare did Xyos just to test the instances and storyline changes to get ready for coffee? So when you get to start the new story line and you get defrosted, you'll find the Empire and the Republic in ruins if you come back to the planets. Well, they said they weren't going to gate the old planets, didn't they? So I don't think so.
they said you could still travel to them. They never said anything about what state they would be in.
Oh, okay.
I hope they don't cataclysm us as in what happened with the World of Warcraft Cataclysm expansion, where they changed everything in the old world. So, yeah. They really haven't said. We have no idea what they're going to do. All have said we can visit those planets.
Right. Okay.
Test the instances and storyline changes. Maybe.
Kyo, the GM of ICE on the Progenitor. Hey guys, just letting you know of something really interesting on the Progenitor server. A member, Captain Nutcase of the guild ICE, has taken all but one of his alts and made his own guild named The One. He is the only player in this guild and farmed mats and slicing nodes on Ziost for a month in order to attempt to solo win a planet. And not on a total galactic war week when it would be potentially easier. He is 1,000,000 points in front after the first 3 days, but works weekends, so he expects a close fight on the last day. Hopefully he will succeed, and I think deserves some recognition for his brave attempt. I will keep you notified. Update! Yes, he did it! He solo won a conquest planet with 10 alts.
Wow.
And the story behind it. After ICE conquered a planet 1 week, one of our guildies, Navarre, we know Navarre, commented to our AGM Schvink that he could probably win a planet all by himself. This planted a seed into your old Schvink's head, and he came up with the idea of taking 10 of his 11 rep alts to his own guild. So we got a few friends to help create the One guild, promptly kicking them, and then spent 3 weeks slicing on Yavin for the 50 million credits to buy his guild ship and collecting mats on various planets. When he thought he had enough, he did a trial run and finished mid-table, deciding that the following week would be his attempt. And what an attempt it was. Over 3 million points scored. He not only won, but won by 1.3 million points. I'm sure he'd like to thank everyone for the help, but nobody helped him, so he won't. He never had any friends run him through lockouts or heroics or accepted any mats or credits, as he wanted to win totally solo. Also, he has a full-time job and thought his plans were in chaos when his boss refused to give him 2 days off work over the weekend.
Clearly worked out. Wow. I don't know why I bothered
incredible.
to buy a guild ship, though. I didn't think you needed that. You can invade a planet without a guild ship, can't you?
Did you get any bonuses, though?
I don't think you get any bonuses from having the guild ship, not as far as actually as Conquest goes. Regardless, wow.
Yeah.
Of course, this was on one of the, shall we say, underpopulated servers, and good luck doing this on the Harbinger.
True.
But yeah, congratulations. Still.
That's still amazing.
It just does go to show that Conquest has devolved into being all about crafting. That's it.
Right.
And all the other stuff, all the other gameplay stuff that it's supposed to encourage, there's no point. If you want to win, you craft your way to victory.
Right. All right. Owen from the Shadowlands. Hey, OotiniCast. Thought I'd check what my /played was. As of 6/27, my time played was 8,621.9 hours across all my tunes, just shy of 360 days. My addiction is going strong, but thankfully, I know of one person in my guild with more played time than me. Well, it beats the heck out of me, so congratulations, Owen. If congratulations is the right word.
Yeah, I think that is the highest so far we've come across. I'm pretty sure.
It's pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember all the numbers. There's, yeah. All I know is mine is, I think, is the lowest actually so far. But I think people are also, they're sending theirs in if it's really high. So I think it's a self-selecting group.
Definitely.
And Teodra wrote, "Hi, this is Teodra once again from the Utini Knights Guild. I want to get your all thoughts on this because I've heard a lot of speculation and groaning about how we have yet another immortal emperor who's been hiding out and suddenly appearing, and we already have one emperor who's immortal, and now it seems a bit ridiculous. I think, however, some people are misinterpreting this. I personally do not believe that they are saying that Valkorion is immortal. I think it's more of a title, which ties into the Eternal Throne and the Eternal Empire. That would also seem to be made clear from the fact that in the trailer, he clearly ages as the children grow from infants to adulthood. Further, why would he need an heir to his throne if he is truly immortal? I think it'd be a very different situation than what we see with Vishit."
I can't argue with any of that. I think Couch is right.
Yeah, I still wanted to think that Vitiate was somehow behind him, but I did look at I rewatched it, and he definitely has like a dark beard at the beginning when it's the babies, and then he has a gray beard, at the end. So, of course, the Emperor is very, very patient, and he might have an excellent barber, able to subtly gray the beard as time goes on.
So just pretending to get older, yeah.
I don't know, but it was a pretty. I must say, it's a pretty strong piece of evidence, So,
Yep.
All right. Teodra also wrote, Teodra for the Utini Nice Guild on the Harbinger server, so I decided to take the challenge for myself. Though I did not bother with tunes on server other than Harbinger, as there'd be little to no time played on those tunes. Kind of like how I did it. Teodra continues, my breakdown is as follows. All told, I have devoted over 288 days to this game, with a total of 6,917 hours played. Let's see. Most of those are tank and damage, with only 129 hours on healers, so definitely a tank and damage player.
Yep.
Over 90% Imperial, and looks like Inquisitor is the big winner with 2,259. Bounty Hunter second place, 1,793. And Agent 1,639, so there you go. What really amazes me is I've been tanking on my main side since the middle of 2013 and still have managed to do more hours of DPS. As you can see, healing really isn't my thing, and I definitely have a bias for the Imperial faction. Very true.
Indeed. Oh, I did forget to do the spreadsheet that was sent in last week in terms of to do the pretty graphs. So
right, I didn't have it available, so I just I took down the information though. I think mine is going to be pretty spread out, except for my old operations tune.
We had a comment from Twitch chat from Dynamite2K4. What if the new Emperor guy is being mind controlled by the old one, conquering through him or something like that?
That would be right up his alley, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
And, sorry, just another thing. People have been having trouble logging into the Harbinger. And there's some comments about that the issue is ongoing. Now, there was a post about this. Unable to enter server unless new character created. And then Tape said they're looking into the issue. And if you run into trouble, what they've seen works is creating a new character, logging into it, and then returning to character select may allow you to log into your other characters. And additionally, you can try exiting the game for about 15 minutes for the same results, but creating a new character appears to be more reliable, which won't do me any good at all because I have no character slots free if I have any problem. So, so apparently other people are having issues getting to the Harbinger. Because so many people's transferred characters there, because it is the most populated West Coast server. In fact, it's the single most populated server. So,
yeah, which is interesting because the US has a much heavier population on the East Coast, not the West Coast.
But their PvE servers are split between the Shadowlands and Jedi Covenant. So
that's right.
That's why there's only one PvE on the West Coast.
Yep. That's it. I forgot about that detail. They kept 2 open when they did all the merging. All right. Cap Slapshot 27 wrote, or actually sent in a picture and also wrote. Ridge Hunter Rancor, a lot of cartel mounts it looks like. I think I may have a mount hoarding problem. Highlights include Ridge Hunter Rancor, Chunlin Dewback Expedition Yuxa Beast, MSM JT2 Jetpack on the quick bar, Cartel Hedonist Skiff, the Canyon Bantha, boy these are all awesome ones, Droid Officer Transport, Walkther Harbinger, Marshwood Varanticus, and Concordian Scoutcraft. That is a series of highlights. Still working on that Rancor from the slot machines. I've blown up 3 machines now and still no luck. Yeah, good luck with that.
You'll get there. You just persevere.
All I can say is it happens. It took me 4 million credits to get my first one, and 80,000 to get the second, so who the hell knows. Dekion wrote, Dekion and FY Jam session. Let's see, and there's a YouTube link. And there's also something about Rickrolling, so I'm thinking this is a Rickrolling video.
It was. So he sent. This is Dekion and Fee doing a bit of machinima. They're 2 characters, and yes, it is the Rick Astley Yeah. So I had to have Rick Rolling explained to me because I'd never heard of the concept. And yes, it is a Rick Rolling video with a SWOTOR video. Yes.
Theme to it. Okay, cool. Well, something if they were just making the characters dance on the screen, but just playing the music, that's not quite a Rick Rolling video in my book. But it's that's still funny though. All right. Chris Schmidt, designer at BioWare Austin and SWOTOR Raider. He wrote, in SWOTOR Dev Tools, you can shift plus left-click map icons to teleport around instantly. It took me weeks after launch to stop trying it live. I only mention this because I relapse from time to time, like today, and shift-click angrily in-game, nearing table flip status, and then derp.
The danger of being a game designer and actually playing the game that you designed. Yes. Yep, just like the rest of us. Sorry about that. Which is nice because they have made that absolutely clear. When the BioWare employees play the game themselves, they're doing it on the regular servers. They have no access to anything special. They're just like the rest of us.
Right. And I remember when I was in Austin doing the test stuff, they actually showed me the shift left click to get around instantly. It was really cool. And you could also, there's another click that let you go through walls. You could just
cool.
Right through a locked wall or anything. It was awesome.
All right, just one sec. From Darth Brundlefly in the chat, Vitiate can lay waste to entire planets. Nah, stuff it. I'll just take over this guy and do it the hard way. As another way of making that a plausible theory. And in Twitch chat from Nasbin Alcadeus, maybe Vitiate's body was in like a sleep mode that didn't age, and then when people said the Emperor has to be Sith, they quoted, maybe he isn't Sith, or what seems to be. So that human body could be his true body, and now that the time was right, while he was gone for a long time, pertaining to Chapter 3, saying he was in another galaxy, his body could have awakened, had kids, to fulfill his dark deeds.
Well, if you did that, it would definitely be changing some of the things that happened in some of the novels. So,
but that's okay. That's completely okay because all of that EU stuff is out the window. None of it happened. So they can do whatever they like.
Well, is that true of the SWOTOR stuff? Because they also have said that the SWOTOR stuff is like their own sandbox. So there's really no indication that the SWOTOR stuff ever went away.
The novels, SWOTOR novels, that's a really interesting question, the Old Republic novels. In theory, they're legends, along with everything else.
Right, but SWOTOR itself is a legend because they want to be able to roll over SWOTOR if they ever have to.
Sort of, yes. Overrideable. Yeah, it doesn't want to have any effect on the future. Yeah, you're right. That's really ambiguous.
Yeah, I don't think BioWare would change it that much.
I'd
but
agree.
It could happen, I suppose. All right. So we do Ansaris now?
Yep.
Ansari wrote, greetings, Ootiniites. I've been playing SWOTOR for about 2 years now, but only recently discovered OotiniCast. Have become such a fan of the podcast that I'm giving serious thought to transferring my legacy to Harbinger server in order to join the guild. Yep, well, it's pretty cheap right now. I've been on the Ebon Hawk and rarely have server lag problems. Well, that special bonus will be gone when you join the Harbinger. Actually, server lag problems, not necessarily so much, but we do have issues of connection and stuff for sure. Tonight, I created my first character on the Harbinger server to test the server connection quality. I'm in the Midwest US for FWIW, whatever that means.
For what it's worth.
I assume that's, for what it's worth. Okay, so it's like FYI. Okay. I'm in the Midwest of the US for what it's worth. The connection was horrible. I literally could not survive fights because the game was unresponsive. I switched instances, but the problem remained. Almost everybody was complaining about it in general chat. Well, at least you know then that in that case it's not specific to you. Anyway, obviously one evening should not be the basis of my judgment on the Harbinger server, but given how bad the connection was, I'm nervous about transferring my legacy to it. Why is it so expensive to do, by the way? Come on, BioWare. Don't make it easy, but nearly 2,000 cartel coins? Well, you know by now that it's a lot cheaper for the time being. My real question is, are there any Utini guildies in the Midwestern US? If yes, how's your server connection quality typically? Any insight would be much appreciated. And then Go ahead, Tio.
I don't have
We know
any
that.
insight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, some of our raiders are from East Coast time, are they not? If not Midwest.
Yes, Bill certainly. Who for them it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern when they start.
Yep. So that's even further. That's Eastern
Yeah.
time instead of.
Now we do have a few
Midwestern
guys
is
in
usually
Midwest.
Central time. Yeah, Midwestern. If you're Midwestern, you're almost always Central time.
Yep. We've literally got players from all over. So, actually, now I think it through, there are quite a few people from that area, from that general part of the US.
Yeah.
So, yep, there are people in that time zone.
And they've been raiding with us forever. So, I mean, it's not that bad. Yeah. Obviously, though, if anyone else has some more insight, that'd be great. Let's see. From the chat room, Slayer's Orange says, do
He
Underworker
suggests-
first.
Yeah, he was responding to when we were talking about our operations. He says, Underlurker and Sword Squadron first, do them first, so they'll help you get your DPS up to par. And Underlurker has the same basic mechanics as story mode. It just requires better execution. So
Right.
it's easier than talk, is the bottom line. So he reckons that's what we should be doing. Thank you, Slayer Orange. We may actually try that tomorrow.
Cool. Let's see. In the chat room, CP Anita, regarding the Midwest thing, my connection's been decent. I've had pauses and spikes, but they were very fast and didn't last long. All right.
Yeah, as far as the lag that he was seeing, I talked to him a bit about what he was seeing, and there's just no real explanation. The only real thing we can come up with is something to do with the ISP and some bizarre
Possibly.
routing of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
we
saying...
play-
Sorry, go ahead. Well, they were saying that, because a lot of people are transferring to the Harbinger, it's possible that they are experiencing heavier than usual populations and heavier server load and that sort of thing. Also, I know that it's at least possible once in a while you'll get there'll be issues with like ISPs not related to yours, but just sort of like in the middle of the country, and just things that have to get routed through them. It actually causes problems. For example, I saw a message specifically in League of Legends not too long ago, where it specifically said like it was specifically on this issue. I don't remember the exact specifics of it though. Basically, it said the XYZ company is having issues in the southwestern United States.
Yeah.
Players in that area, even if they're not from that ISP, may have issues connecting, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it does happen. All right. Puppy names. We've already got some ideas. The Jer Bear suggests, depending on how fluffy the dog is, you could name it Wicket, then get a little tunic for his head, and make a little spear to go on his back. So there you go. Just we've already established your thoughts on Ewoks, though.
Indeed.
Other ideas, Lump.
Lumpy, sorry.
Lumpy?
It was Lump.
Okay.
Yep.
And Musco. That'd be fun.
Yep. No. No, I'm not calling a dog after Eric. He's a nice guy, but that would just be wrong.
I still definitely think you should check out the puppy names in the one fight, because I think there's one called Captain, and there's a couple other potentially good ones in there.
Let me read the next one.
Sure.
Colorado J in our chat was asking why he was getting failures trying to transfer a character to the Harbinger. He asked whether it was because he's not currently a subscriber, he's preferred, and he thought he had plenty of character slots there, but of course when you're preferred you drop down to 6 active character slots, and he actually had 6 on the server, and so it was preventing him because of that. So just be aware of that.
If you're preferred, you can still open up more?
You can
Is that
certainly
correct?
buy extra
Yeah.
character slots up to 10 more. Yep.
That's what I
So
thought.
max out
Okay.
at 16.
Okay. All right. The Kos Stronghold Mystery. Giant Gina, a.k.a. Ben, asks our listeners to solve the following Kos Stronghold Mystery. This is very cool. So yeah, he sent us in a mystery, and we're going to have to figure out how this happened. You'll understand as we go. And there's going to be lots of pictures in the show notes, so this will be very show note oriented. Anyway, the Kos Stronghold Mystery from Giant Gina. Giant Gina writes, I found a mysterious pixie outside my stronghold a while back. And indeed, it's kind of creepy and kind of alluring, too. It's definitely feminine, and yet it's also kind of like a little ghostly.
And it's outside the window, which is the strange part, because he appears to be looking out. Or is he? Or is it inside? No, he's definitely looking out.
Definitely outside, it looks like.
Yeah.
She pleaded to be let inside. And there's another picture. And she is, in fact, pleading. And it's hard to see exactly what she's standing on. So that's tricky.
Yeah.
Rather than let her in, I decided to bring her a coat and some hot cocoa. There's a picture of, looks like several people way up on the top of the stronghold. On the top of the stronghold. It's like, how the heck did they get there?
Yep.
And there's a couple more pictures, and even one of them on a Rancor. The roof didn't have any obvious access, so I had to create my own way to make sure the mysterious pixie was taken care of. How, oh how, did I find my way to the rooftop?
And, okay, we'll as Jill said, we'll include all of these pictures in the show notes, and if you can work it out, we will have a prize for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm curious myself. I haven't seen anyone do this before. Yeah.
I'm now going to try and work it out. So.
Of course. And I wonder if you have to have everything unlocked. I believe I do for that stronghold, but it'll be interesting to know if you just have to have it unlocked or if you have to, do it from one secret unlocked, down in the basement or something.
Yep, good go.
And, well, actually, go ahead, because I think we're just about done here.
Yep. Just a couple more puppy names for Darth Brundlefly. You could use Utini, or Jawa, or Blizz. Keep with the theme of the guild and the cast. Remember, this dog will be with us for many years. I don't think I could, it's just...
Right.
I'm not sure that would
Blizz
be right.
is kind of a nice name.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially if he's really rambunctious, real energetic.
Oh, he will be. He's a Jack Russell, so...
Guaranteed. Which stronghold is it? And that would be the Droman Kos one. We know because of the rain.
Yeah. Love the rain.
So yeah, definitely Droman Kos, and yeah, can't wait to see how this is figured out.
Yep.
All right. Unless there's anything else, Tio?
I think we picked up all the questions. Let's just give the guys a few seconds if they want to ask anything else. So I'll finish with something from Zamzam, Rachel, who will be on our spoiler cast when we do that in the coming weeks. She says, where is it? Where did Vitiate go after the Treaty of Coruscant, which is basically where the game picks up when our characters start, back in vanilla SWTOR? The hand says, he leaves the known galaxy to fulfill a great calling. Leaves the known galaxy to fulfill a great calling. Oh boy. I think this is pretty much guaranteeing that the Eternal Empire has certainly got something to do with him.
Yeah.
Damn it. Or maybe it'll be awesome. We will see. We will see.
All right, then, that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our...
Do it yourself, Jill. Go on. You've never done one.
That's true, I've never done one. Or in our Utini Rage Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is from Mevio's Musicale. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thank you to the chat room for an especially lively session this time. And we'll see you next week.
And Sisquia Yetzga suggests Baldar for the dog. Baldar? Yeah, Baldar. Bowie. I guess that could work. Yep. Hope to. You hurt your throat a little.
I
That was
did.
awesome, Jill.
It
That was
pretty-
really good.
I really ragged it out. Ragged it out.
Have a nice drink of water with some lemon in it or something to ease your throat.
Yes, I'm drinking lots of water. It's been very hot. All right.
As Mark Swodor says regarding the Zamzam's quote, I thought that was just the hand's way of making "he buggered off" sound fancy. That's pretty cool.
He did. He skonkered.
Skonkered? You mean scarpered? What do you mean skonkered?
I'm not sure what the exact word is, but it's from Holy Grail.
Ah,
He buggered off. Oh yeah, he did. He skonkered. That's what he sounds
scarpered,
like
I
anyway.
think. Well, who knows? All right. Yep, it was.
Do you think he said
short-ish.
scampered? Like
Scarpered. Scarpered. It's an English
what is
thing.
scarpered? Never heard that one.
It's English if you Google it.
Cool.
I'm sure you'll see it. Scarpered.
Scarpered.
Sorry, we'll end this in a second. Harley.
We're gonna end it on a search for the Holy Grail. So British, informal, past tense. Scarpered means run away. Okay.
There you go.
Scarpered. He scarpered. There we go.
And I've just checked the script for the Holy Grail. And it goes left head, all right, not biscuits, but let's kill him anyway. All heads say, right. And left head said, he buggered off. Right head said, so he has, he scarpered.
There we go.
There you
And
go.
it's British slang, or informal speaking. Right?
Yeah, we do say it a bit too. All right, guys, thank you. Sorry for the, well, it's shortish.
That's good to know.
Yay, short editing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we will be back next week, hopefully, with more SWOTOR news once Eric is back from holiday and they do more marketing stuff. So, have a good week, guys. See you then.
Bye.
Stop.